I'm rolling, so if you can just introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my name is Han Jian. I'm a MD PhD student at Temple University. I'm also a member of SAPA-GP, and I've been serving on the SAPA-GP Executive Council for several years. So this is my great pleasure to get to have this interview. Yeah.
My name is David Chen. So I'm the Wuxi Event Therapy Business Unit CEO. So I've been serving 2 years with the Wuxi ATU, but even with a great pleasure, have been serving 2 years on the SAPA-GP advisory role, right? It's really great to see just a concept really started from Jean and few other the SAPA leader from the concept. Of course, even though it took 2 years to realize, not because the team didn't want to go, it's because of the pandemic starting, but now seeing this outstanding event finally taking place in June 17, June 18, 2022, that's just really exciting.
Great, thank you. So this is Jin Yang. I'm the past president serving in the year 2019 and 2020. And now the event actually the concept started with 2019. And I'm so glad today at this table we are actually having the few original generator of the affiliate conference, right? So maybe I'll start with, I'll ask questions. And Han, you and Jerry are the first two leaders of this organization. I remember we spent hours and hours and nights and talking about what we envision this conference to be. Can you just talk a little bit more about those days?
Yeah, I remember that the original idea of organizing a professional conference just focusing on cell and gene therapy can be traced back in 2018 when we had this opportunity to organize a scientific symposium focusing on immunotherapy. And at that time, we got this privilege to invite Dr. Karan Jun as our keynote speaker. And that symposium turned out to be a huge success with over 300 or 400 people. 400 people attending. And after the symposium, we SAPA-GP people talked like a few times internally, and with that we think like, why don't we just organize a professional conference just focusing on cell and gene therapy, because we know that the greater Philadelphia area is the Silicon Valley and it's the birthplace of cell and gene therapy. So that's how we got started.
Yeah, I recall at that time we had a lot of question about why we need this. So we've been talking about, everyone is talking about cell gene therapy, the fatherland is in Philadelphia, but when we talk about the best conference where you put all the big guys together, the line together, it's either in San Francisco or Boston.
Yeah.
And there is a huge gap in greater Philadelphia, actually. We're not leveraging that capability. So we will be doing soul searching for SAPA-GP. We have the capability and we have the right place. Why don't we be the change maker and make it happen?
Yeah.
I remember we are very ambitious. We are going to be the East Coast of the cell and gene therapy at MESA. So at Philly, cell gene therapy is something we think is going to really help drive the industry in this area.
Yeah, that's how we started this brand at Philly. We even created a new logo for this conference.
Yeah. So I recall, I think after we have initially made the concept, and we were thinking about, let's dream about the best conference we want, something that really going to be influential beyond even Philadelphia. We want to attract the best mind and best business people come to Philadelphia. What kind of conference we want?
Yeah.
And so at that time, I think that probably three of us spent a lot of time at that time, and San, who are also involved, but eventually I think the two of you were the mastermind behind. So we had the initial draft, and lo and behold, so we said, well, we need experts, we need advisors.
Yeah.
And Jerry is I have the right one.
Yeah, that's.
So Dave, you were almost the mentor for Jerry and also for SAPA-GP
No,
in
you're too
terms
kind,
of
Jean,
this
yeah.
CGT conference. I don't know how many nights and days you've been working with us.
No,
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Not at all, right? I think just maybe very, very selfishly, right? My company, Wuxi Event Therapy, we are literally located in Philly, right? In the Philadelphia Navy Yard, right? Even for my both personal, selfish kind of interested, I want to see something happening here, right? I just don't want to say, but a lot bigger picture, Hang and Jing, you're saying, right? I already seen this is really the future. It's not only the birthplace of the cell therapy and also gene therapy, but going to be a future powerhouse for that. If we can have this conference being holding here, that just being benefiting not only the industry growth, but also the attendee for their learning, information, experience sharing, right? So that's very, very exciting. But also, if I reflecting 2 years ago, there's a reality.
Yeah.
We all remember 2020, something happened,
Yeah.
pandemic. I still remember the first meeting we actually chit-chat together. I think we're talking about multiple days, and even potentially, I think in the past, SAPA had a very, very strong international participation, especially from China. I was asking the first question, how are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Traveling or being blocked, right? Are we going to do the virtual versus the thing? It's under such a big uncertainty. So that's why I think now 2 year fast forward to where we are now, seeing, I think my understanding, we have more than 500 people registered. I think in the morning, attending the Peter Markey's presentation, the whole grand ballroom was packed with the people, right? So all those things are just amazing. So my big congratulations to Jing and to Hang, to Jerry and many, many other, right? 2 years a long time, 2 years long time. But somehow, just like a wine, right?
Yeah.
The more aging you go, the better taste. I think you can be proud of it.
Thank you. I think it's really important for us to go from the concept to what we have today. Part of this is really the contribution of our advisors, right? So you bring not only the resources, you bring the insights where really guide us to see
You're too kind.
how do we want to build it to
Yeah.
a conference that's meaningful. That's what we would want to achieve.
Yeah.
Right, so with your position as a head of ATU and also your experience in the field for so long, really help us to shape it.
You're
So
too kind.
very grateful.
No. But if I reflecting that originally we planned it for, I know it's more than 2 days, right?
3 days.
Yeah.
we
3
have
days.
we have a lot of interesting topic. There's an educational track. There's an investment track. There's a many other track, right? I thought I call it when dream also sweet.
Yeah.
The reality could be sour, could be difficult, right? So that's why I think the final agenda we're putting out here is the best possible agenda you can expecting right off the pandemic. Are we going to go back to the very comprehensive, international, integrated, multiple discipline thing? I think we should. That was highly encouraging. We should build upon the success what we have in the 2022. So the next year when we get the SAPA-GP again, right? And first of all, we got to be cell and gene therapy focused, but we can have the broader element come into play. Especially, I think we didn't put too much effort about the educational part. We didn't put too much effort on the investment part, right? So this is one we probably can do more next year. But the big success this year should giving everybody the confidence, not just attendee, but more important to all the staff.
I think you really bring an important point. I think originally we were very ambitious. Remember, we were saying first conference we want to achieve everything.
Big bang.
I remember Dave was saying focus. But now as we are doing today with the 2-day conference, I really think 2 things stands out, right? First of all, we are focused, but we also achieve our initial goal to raise visibility.
Yep.
So we have the science and the affiliate forum as a first round of getting the main message across.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, so science part is a given, but the business part, how can we do it well enough that pave the way for the future, more details? So I think with the advisors who actually give us the resource to access to CEO Council, and so we are able to really tap into the top organizations and stay I could KOL as well as stakeholders
Yeah.
to be part of this
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
This really opened up doors for us to do in the future. And this time we also did our first, I call it teaser part for the training. So what I heard from the conference again, scientists, innovation, no problem. Philadelphia is the number one. What we are missing actually are the business leaders
Yeah.
who can actually help the innovators and bring that. So this year we purposefully inserted the 3 business sessions. So I feel this session is really having people to be aware of what kind of resources available. Then we have entrepreneurship workshop. We call it mini boot camp. It's a mini version. We also use it as a teaser to open people's eyes. So those are the things. Then we have the expert-led roundtable, allowing people to bring their personal questions about their business. How do you invest? How do you build your IP portfolio? So all those little elements. So as a starter, I think we are starting to build that. I think down the road, I would imagine we could expand to be in much more depth. Right? And also for organizations who provide service provider is a lifeline for cell gene therapy. This is also the strength of Philadelphia area, but the awareness is not there. I heard again, academia, UPenn, they were saying, we have all those programs to train entrepreneurs, but our faculties, many of them don't even come to our session because they're not aware we have this available. So we are actually helping them to raise awareness. So we want to make sure the innovators are aware those resources are available, and their kind of training help you to turn from scientist into entrepreneur. Another part that's really touched me unexpectedly was at Philly session, they talked about how the industry helped the people and the work that the workforce, the workers you hire in the manufacturer side generate so many jobs. And that will actually change Philadelphia economics and change people who actually did not have that job opportunity. So I think one of the speakers said, really struck me a lot. He said, Philadelphia has highest poverty rate, one of the highest crime rate. What is the best way to fight poverty? What's the best way to fight crime?
A job.
Create good job.
Good job. Very
And
good job.
manufacture job at the CGT industry is a way to go, and we just cannot afford to miss this opportunity. That actually makes me feel a mission.
Very, very meaningful impact.
Really meaningful. And so what we are doing is not just helping patients. We are actually changing the society. It's just incredible. So thank you for the great job, especially the manufacturer side. I always feel like I come from large pharma, and manufacturer side is a given. But I also, in my early life, I did cell therapy and then starting to learn more about gene therapy. So the manufacturer part of it is truly the bottleneck and truly something that can make it or miss it. You could have the innovation, but you can't provide to the patients, right? So that manufacturer side is something Philadelphia is putting a lot of investment. Probably you're more familiar since you are in that field. Maybe you can talk more on that and think about down the road, how can we help really raise that visibility and transform the industry to a level where we want to go.
I think the first step always the most difficult one, right? So I didn't realizing the genesis of this idea from the SAPA-GP journal to SAPA-GP cell and gene therapy. That's a great success, right? If I can see this SAPA-GP focus on cell gene therapy is a first step in 2022 with a snowball to rolling from the top of the hill. You guys got done a wonderful, wonderful thing. So that snowball is rolling down the hill, accelerating the speed and getting bigger, right? So definitely the first big bang is out there. Do actually making a lot of publication, promotion afterward to make the good deed here to be known by many, many other, right? But then even moving forward, right, I can see a lot of professional convention or conference, right? They're specializing either very, very scientific or business oriented. For example, I was just in the bio, actually 2 days before. I don't know, SAPA-GP, very intentionally focus on that part. So that's very, very good. But we all know the bio are just purely focused on business part. But I also know 2 weeks ago, there's an ASGCT. So it's a very, very scientific there, right? So all those kind of individually business-oriented, scientific-oriented meeting, SAPA can bring them together.
That's
Bring
exactly
them
what I
together.
want to
Exactly
do.
what
Bring them together
Yeah.
because this kind of, I call the playground to letting people together is very, very rare.
Yeah.
And also not to, so that integrating business part and the scientific technical part, continue doing that. I think SAPA can providing that platform very, very nice, right? But even more importantly, SAPA really bringing the US and the Asian, mostly Chinese, those two so-called society together. And we all know cell and gene therapy, US and China together is the most important powerhouse,
leading powerhouse, yeah.
from every aspect, discovery, research part, developing part, the business investment part. I think SAPA under that demographical, geographical location kind of advantage can also play that playground. I just seen the bright future while I'm seeing the SAPA-GP and CGT can play. So I will continue support, I continue sponsor because I know I will enjoy it, but also I can be part of the Greater Philadelphia resident, can benefit from this outstanding continued proliferation growth of the
Great.
SAPA. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe I'll finish with one question for each one of you.
Sure.
I think the two of you represents two important aspects of the CGT industry. You are the veteran serving the manufacturer side, the bottleneck. You are the future innovators and people bring transformation medicine at the early end. So what do you think this conference can evolve to really serve the need? I hope you.
I'll let David.
I go
speak
first?
Yeah.
I think the earlier topic already touched upon, become a meaningful playground, allowing the so-called participant of the cell gene therapy come here to fulfill what they need. For example, investor want to come to a certain location to spot the good technology they can invest. We can set it out like that way, right? A company like us, we're desperately needing a good talent, right? We come here to do the recruiting. And certain young profession, they actually probably working in their domain, but they want to having that short exposure, learning about something new, so it can come here to be trained. I can on and on and on for another many things. Maybe come down to, because the SAPA-GP, cell gene therapy, this chapter is so focused and also can do so many things all together. So I can foresee this playground doing this kind of matchmaking. So somebody come here had a need, and somebody come here can provide that, can fulfill the supply. So demand the supply together. I think there should be a
So
general
we need
mission.
everyone to get the word out. Yeah.
Yep. Somebody needs something. For example, I want to come here also promoting ATU.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I also come here for looking for the talent. So if you have your resume or something ready, I'd like to get your resume.
I would love to give it to you.
So I think is it just this kind of a playground? That's where the convention conference is supposed to be.
Great.
Right? You go to bio, you're looking for possible investment partnership.
Can't wait for the next conference.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
have it happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
How about you?
just echo what David just said. Like I think as a local nonprofit organization, we SAPA-GP should provide a professional platform for people in academia, in industry, and to bring them together. So we are organizing conferences, not just focusing on science, not just focusing on business, but we want to have a very comprehensive platform so that people can know what they are looking for, people can come for their jobs, people can do their business here, people can talk about science here. I think this is the main goal of the idea behind this conference. Yeah.
I think we should build a social media group, right? So everybody can sign in there. If anybody have the issue, for example, I need 2 PhD, and we can post in there. Or somebody saying my AAV production have the issue, we can post in here, right?
So-
and people can start sharing that information.
So now I'm calling for volunteers. We need all kinds of volunteers and everybody in the room, including you. Yeah, probably from this conversation you heard how exciting this is, how every one of us could chip in.
Mhm.
It's really something helping the whole community
And,
yeah.
and WuXi
It's
ATU
so
will continue to
meaningful.
sponsor financially and also providing any necessary advice and also logistics. We are a local company here, right? Philadelphia is our sweet home. Actually, for our testing operation, more than 18 years, right? So we are rooted here. We're not going anywhere. So as long as that GP, Greater Philadelphia, is here, we're here with you.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible because what you are bringing not only the workforce, and you have helped the industry business. You
Thank
help
you.
the tenants having the job. So you help the patients, and you also help the community. It's super important, and the manufacturer
Thank you.
part is going to be probably what separate Philadelphia area from the rest of the world, and being part of the leading force. It's
Yeah, I'm with you.
incredible.
WuXi ATU is just the first one. If I use Chinese, 抛砖引玉, right? Your first one come by initiative, but there's many other
Exactly.
companies.
So, yeah.
So I will help to role modeling. So we first come, and they will come
Yeah.
together.
This
right?
is a very
Yeah.
important part. I think this industry can't be just WuXi or some. We have to come together. Yeah,
Absolutely,
so-
absolutely. But I think the business needs there, right? The interest from either the need or the provider, they're all there. Again, our SAPA-GP play a platform, play the objective, but very universal, very friendly platform. So everybody come here to either get something or give something.
Yeah.
That get and give from many
Exactly.
domain can happen in place. And ATU will be there, WuXi ATU will be there.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
thank
Yeah.
you.
So I think the first SAPA-GP CGT conference has served as a foundation for us, and we'll go from there. So hopefully next year we'll
Yeah.
grow bigger and we'll attract more attendees.
Okay?
And
Yeah.
more
And
purposeful,
more-
serving specific purpose.
Yeah, and more KOLs like David.
Yeah.
So we're going to be a super JP Morgan cell gene therapy, super ASGCT, cell and gene. Well, actually, that part hard to replace. But we'll do the very big niche part. Remember, even ASGCT, for example, they're probably scientifically more intense, more broad, but they might not cover the
Yeah, we are Philly-based.
we can do many other things.
Yeah.
So continue doing that. I'm pretty sure next meeting, I think my last advice probably to the SAPA, make sure you get a bigger, larger conventional hall. So you will have the bigger, larger audience.
Yeah. I think the way I envision this is really not SAPA's achievement. It's what the Greater Philadelphia, the CGT, what we can do together. So that's why partnership is really critical for us. So we are looking for partnership across.
Yep.
Yeah.
And join forces together.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
All right.